My last video was me predicting the Western Conference All-Stars, and for this video, you guys can already tell, we're going to be talking about the Eastern Conference. This season, there are so many new players now in the Eastern Conference, which kind of made it difficult for me to create the starters and create the bench. The Eastern Conference is getting better season after season, and with the Western Conference usually known to be the better conference, I don't know. I think the East is in that conversation now. The NBA is saying that no matter what happens, even if they don't have an All-Star game, we're still gonna have an All-Star team. And that's why I feel it's just right that I make this video. So if you're big on the Eastern Conference, this video is perfect for you. But quickly, before I get on with the video, I just want to say, if you're new to the channel and love basketball, welcome to Easy Buckets. My name is Soom, and I make basketball videos every single day. So be sure to hit the subscribe button and click this button right here, the post notification bell, to not miss any of my upcoming videos. If you watched this video and you loved it, be sure to smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. It would help out the channel a lot. But without wasting any more time, let's talk about the Eastern Conference All-Stars. At the beginning of this season, we as NBA fans were told that an All-Star game actually might not happen this year. A big part of an NBA season is All-Star Weekend. We all know the three-point contest, the dunk contest, and of course the All-Star Game, so hearing this news, we weren't happy. But recently, we just heard some good news revolving the All-Star Weekend and the All-Star Game. The NBA confirmed that this year, we will 100% have an All-Star team, even if there's no All-Star Game. Then we got some more good news on January 25th at 5 p.m. from Adrian Woj, and this is what he tweeted. ESPN sources, the National Basketball Association and the National Basketball Players Association are discussing scenarios to still hold an All-Star game in March. One site under discussion is Atlanta, home of Turner Sports. That idea includes providing support for HBCUs and COVID-19 relief. Story soon on site. With this tweet alone, we as NBA fans should be looking forward to what's gonna happen when it comes to All-Star Weekend and the All-Star Game. For this video, I'm gonna be predicting the 12 Eastern Conference All-Stars and the 12 players that I believe are the most deserving to make the cut. I mentioned earlier that I believe this season, the Eastern Conference is more stacked than usual, and there are a lot more players that I believe should be on the All-Star team, but with 12 players being the maximum, these are the best 12 players in my opinion. The first All-Star on this list will be the starting point guard, and that is Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks, and I believe he's a no-brainer to be a starter this year once again. Last year in Trae Young's sophomore season, Trae Young was the starting point guard, and I don't see a reason this season why he won't be again. And it was because of his dynamic numbers that he put up as an individual player. The Hawks weren't a good team last year, but with Trae Young scoring almost 30 points per game, him making the cut was a no-brainer. But this season, a big reason why I believe he will be an All-Star starter is because he's putting up dynamic numbers once again, but also helping the Hawks actually make the playoffs this year. As I make this video, the Hawks have a record of 9-9. As I make this video, the Hawks have a record of 9-9, which ranks them as the 7th seed in the Eastern Conference, and the fact that Trae Young, in his 3rd season, is helping the Hawks make a playoff push, that's why he gets the nod right now. His numbers also speak for itself. He's averaging 26.2 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, 8.8 assists, shooting a total of 88% at the free throw line, and scoring 2.2 3-pointers made a game. Trae Young is literally an Eastern Conference, in a way, young Stephen Curry. The only point guard that I believe would have started over Trae Young would be Kyrie Irving, but we all know Kyrie Irving was dealing with a lot of drama, and that's why this season I don't see Kyrie Irving making the All-Star cut at all. The next player on this All-Star list will be Bradley Beal, and I believe he'll be the starting shooting guard for this team, and honestly, I'm just so happy for him. When talking about Bradley Beal, especially last season, he was one of the biggest All-Star snubs, and this season, I don't see a reason why he'll ever be a snub again. As I make this video, Bradley Beal is actually leading the league in points per game, scoring 35.4 points, 5.3 rebounds, 4.9 assists, 1.4 steals, shooting a total of 48% at the field goal. Bradley Beal is a statistical monster right now. In my personal opinion, I do believe there's another shooting guard in the Eastern Conference that's better than Bradley Beal, but right now it just makes sense for Bradley Beal to be the starting shooting guard. The only reason I would see Bradley Beal not make the All-Star starter or even make the All-Star cut is because of how unsuccessful the Wizards are. They currently have a record of 3-11 as I make this video, which ranks them as the worst team in the East and the worst team in the whole NBA. This is the only reason why I would see Bradley Beal not an All-Star this year. But in the past, we've seen NBA players make the cut due to numbers alone, and if numbers are the answer, Bradley Beal is a starter. That's a no-brainer. The next player on this list is Kevin Durant of the Brooklyn Nets, and I believe this year, of course, he's going to be a starter, and I also believe that this season, he's going to be the All-Star captain. Kevin Durant missed last year's NBA All-Star Game, and the year before, he was in the West, and LeBron was the All-Star captain. But now with Kevin Durant going to the East, and arguably the best player there, Durant as a captain is a no-brainer. The conversation of LeBron James and Kevin Durant has always been something for us NBA fans to look into, and right now with both players healthy, and both players projected to go to the NBA Finals, us NBA fans seeing them go head-to-head at the All-Star Game, that would be a great beginner's course. Kevin Durant is the second highest scorer in the league right now. He's averaging 30.5 points, 7.5 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 0.7 steals, 1.5 blocks, and these numbers alone speaks volume to how great Kevin Durant is even after his big injury. I'm honestly super happy for KD. He's back and he's better. The next player on this list is Giannis Antetokounmpo, and he's a no-brainer to make the All-Star team once again. In the past 2 years, Giannis was the captain for the Eastern Conference. After winning 2 back-to-back MVPs and a Defensive Player of the Year award, I'll be honest, Giannis has been a little quiet this season, even though the Bucks are doing so well. If you look at Giannis' numbers right now, his numbers actually dipped than they were last year. Although they're still amazing, he just wasn't as good as his MVP seasons. He's currently averaging 26.8 points, 11 rebounds, 5.6 assists, 1.1 steals, and 1.1 block, and Giannis' free throw percentage is just getting worse. He's currently averaging 58% shooting the free throw. I do believe Giannis will have the second most votes in the Eastern Conference behind Kevin Durant. He's a no-brainer to be an All-Star, and whoever ultimately ends up picking him will easily have an advantage to their All-Star roster. As I make this video, the Bucks are ranked the 2nd seed in the Eastern Conference, and with them showing no signs of stopping, I do see them potentially ending the season once again as the 1st seed. Giannis is an All-Star staple, and I can't wait to see him compete again against LeBron or KD. For the final roster spot, we got Joel Embiid at the center position, and Joel Embiid right now is having a most valuable player season, an MVP season. As I make this video, the Philadelphia 76ers are the best team in the Eastern Conference. Of course, this past offseason, they've made a lot of big moves to surround Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, and from the looks of it, Doc Rivers and their new look roster has been very successful, while Joel Embiid is at the center of it all. Right now, everybody's talking about who's better, Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic, and with that conversation being there, Joel Embiid is already recognized as the best center in the Eastern Conference, and him making the cut is a no-brainer as a starter. If you look at his numbers, they're fantastic. He's averaging 27.7 points, 11.1 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 1.2 steals, and 1.4 blocks, and Joel Embiid is shooting a career high of 55% at the field goal line. Joel Embiid is simply a monster right now. Joel Embiid has been an All-Star staple over the past few seasons, and this year, with every single superstar being ready and healthy, Joel Embiid needs to be in the All-Star game. He needs to match up against Nikola Jokic. As long as Joel Embiid can keep staying healthy, I do see him actually as the best center in the NBA. And now we're going to move forward to the bench of the Eastern Conference, which in my opinion, guys, it was actually very difficult to make. There are so many players that I believe could have made the cut, but these 7 players are the players that I ultimately ended up with. The first Eastern reserve is Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics, and Jaylen Brown right now is simply having a breakout season, stepping up into that second option for the Boston Celtics behind Jason Tatum. The Boston Celtics were always guessed and projected to be one of the best teams in the East this season. They're currently 5th in the East with a record of 10-7, and Jaylen Brown has been a big reason why they're so successful because they haven't had Kemba Walker for the first half of the season. Jaylen Brown is currently averaging 27.1 points, 5.6 rebounds, 3.5 assists, 1.5 steals, 0.6 blocks, and there are actually a lot of talks out there about Jaylen Brown actually being the starter over Trae Young or Bradley Beal. In my opinion, I am predicting that Jaylen Brown will be coming off the bench, and this season will be his first time being an All-Star. The next player on this list will be Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics, and seeing Jason Tatum as an All-Star for the upcoming decade, it's going to be a no-brainer from now on. In my original list, I actually saw Jason Tatum as a starter, but the reason why I'm putting him on the bench is because during this season, he was actually out for a lot of games for the Boston Celtics and missed a lot due to COVID-19. If Jason Tatum was completely healthy and he played for the Boston Celtics, maybe they could have been the first seed in the Eastern Conference and he would be in a totally different situation for my prediction video, but for now he's going to be off the bench. Jason Tatum is averaging 26.5 points, 6.8 rebounds, 3.8 assists, 1.2 steals, and 0.8 blocks. And honestly, once the Boston Celtics have everybody healthy with Tatum, Kemba, and Jaylen Brown all together, Boston Celtics are going to be a true contender this year. Jason Tatum will be coming off the bench for this All-Star game, but next season he'll be an All-Star starter. The next player on this list will be a first-time NBA All-Star, and that is Julius Randle of the New York Knicks. And honestly, Julius Randle is putting up amazing numbers, helping the Knicks be as successful as they can, as right now he's being recognized as a Nikola Jokic of the East. If you look at his numbers, he's putting up similar numbers to Nikola Jokic last season. He's averaging 22 points per game, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, and as I make this video, the Knicks are actually doing pretty well. They're ranked as the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference with a record of 8-11, and honestly, I do potentially see them being a team fighting for the 8th spot this year. Usually during this time, the Knicks are the worst team in the NBA. They probably would have had 2 or 3 wins, but the fact that Julius Randle has stepped up into a playmaking, offensive, and defensive role, it speaks volume to how he stepped up and deserves to be an All-Star. Tom Thibodeau, the new head coach, has given Julius Randle the keys to the offense, and from the looks of it, Julius Randle is taking it very well. The next player for this All-Star team is Zach LaVine of the Chicago Bulls. Zach LaVine is definitely a fan favorite, and from the looks of it right now, he's putting up great monster offensive numbers. He's averaging 27 points per game, 5 rebounds, 5.3 assists, 1.3 steals, and shooting a total of plus 50%. Zach LaVine is as efficient as it comes. A lot of NBA fans believe that Zach LaVine could actually be an all-star starter instead of Bradley Beal or Trae Young, but honestly, I don't see him being a starter because of how bad the Bulls are doing and how unsuccessful they've recently been. The Bulls are currently ranked the 13th seed in the Eastern Conference with a record of 7-10, and for Zach LaVine to get more positive attention, the Bulls have to start winning games. The good news though is that Zach LaVine has never been an NBA All-Star, and this season I believe it'll be his first time. The next All-Star for this list is Domantas Sabonis of the Indiana Pacers, and him making the cut is a no-brainer. Sabonis deserves to be an All-Star once again, as he was one last year. As I make this video, Sabonis is averaging 20 points per game, 12 rebounds, top 5 in the league, 5.8 assists, one of the best. He's also an Eastern Conference Nikola Jokic as well, as the Indiana Pacers right now actually has one of the best records in the East. They currently have a record of 11-7, and Domantas Sabonis is at the center of it all. NBA fans don't really talk about Sabonis a lot, but honestly, I believe they deserve to be talked about more and to just simply gain more respect. And if Domantas Sabonis can easily continue to put up these numbers and be consistent, the Indiana Pacers hype will just keep getting bigger and bigger. The 11th player on this list is Bam Adebayo of the Miami Heat, and him making the All-Star team this year is a no-brainer, as right now he is the main focal point for the Miami Heat. If you look at Bam Adebayo's numbers, he's putting up better numbers than he did last year. He's averaging 20 points per game, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 steal and 1 block per game, but he's increased in all efficient aspects, shooting a total of 58% at the field goal and 86% at the free throw line. Bam Adebayo has instantly become an efficient player, as last year a big reason why he wasn't that good is because of his free throw percentage. With Jimmy Butler being out for the majority of the beginning of the season, Bam Adebayo really was that guy for the Heat. And him making the All-Star team this year is simply a no-brainer again. The only reason I see Bam Adebayo does not make the official cut is because of the Heat record. They currently have a record of 6-12, which ranks them as the 14th seed in the Eastern Conference. But besides that, Bam deserves to be an All-Star. And for the final roster spot, guys, I'll be completely honest, it was kind of a hard one for me, but I'm putting James Harden there as the final Eastern Conference All-Star due to the fact that James Harden is James Harden, and honestly, right now for the Brooklyn Nets, he's played a few games and simply just put up monster numbers, and he's just super impactful for the team. The players that I would have replaced James Harden with would either be Malcolm Brogdon, Jeremy Grant, or Nikola Vucevic, but for my prediction, I'm only putting James Harden there because of popularity, and I know a lot of coaches and the media are gonna vote for James Harden. But ultimately, guys, this wraps up my video for today on the 12 Eastern Conference All-Stars. What's most important to me is one of your thoughts. Are these the right picks? Are these the right choices? And if there's someone you would replace, who would it be? Put your thoughts in the comments below. But other than that, take it easy, God bless, and I'll see you all next time on Easy Buckets. Woo!